Kentucky State Representative Dan Johnson is dead tonight. Police say of suicide, one day after refuting accusations of child molestation. All the details, including the plea he reportedly left behind.
Plus, LMPD responds to a shooting on Broadway, then calls a press conference. What we're learning.
Plus, U of L counters fired coach Rick Pitino's lawsuit with one of its own, and it puts the coach on the hook for a lot of money.
The roller coaster ride continues. It cools down the next couple of days and then heats back up. Find out when to expect highs in the 50s and the chance for rain.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. I'm David Scott.
And I'm Adrienne Flores. Representative Dan Johnson is dead tonight in what the Bullitt County coroner is calling a probable suicide.
Our team of reporters has been following this WDRB News alert for the last several hours tonight. WDRB's Kyle Mitchell is live at the Heart of Fire City Church in Louisville, where just yesterday Johnson denied allegations of child molestation. But first tonight, WDRB's Sarah Sidery is live in his hometown of Mount Washington, where the representative reportedly killed himself. Sarah.
Investigators say Representative Dan Johnson appears to have committed suicide on this bridge you see here behind me. Right now, the scene is clear, but this was what we saw just a couple of hours ago. Investigators were focused on Johnson's SUV parked next to the bridge where crime tape was up nearby. Deputies say Johnson drove that silver SUV, a Ford Escape, over the bridge, pulled over, stood in front of the SUV, and shot himself one time. Now, this all happened in a very rural area in Mount Washington off of Grinnell Ford Road.
Someone saw his post on social media and alerted the law enforcement, and then they went into gear and found him.
We're told law enforcement then pinged Johnson's phone, which led them to this general area. They discovered his body near the bridge on the bank of the Salt River. Now, local law enforcement officials tonight are calling this a very tragic situation. We're told that an autopsy will be performed sometime tomorrow morning. Reporting live in Bullitt County, Sarah Sidery, WDRB News.
A few hours before Representative Johnson took his life, he posted this on Facebook. It says in part, "I love God and I love my wife, who is the best wife in the world, my love forever. My mom and dad, my family, and all 5 of my kids and 9 grandchildren." He continued later in his post saying, quote, "I cannot handle it any longer. It has won this life, but heaven is my home." Representative Dan Johnson denied allegations of sexual misconduct just yesterday at the Heart of Fire City Church in Louisville.
WDRB's Kyle Mitchell is live at that church tonight. Kyle?
David, the sign out here says Satan accuses, God says you're not guilty. State Representative Dan Johnson dismissed the claims made against him yesterday right here at his church. On Monday, the chairman of the Republican Party of Kentucky called for Representative Johnson to resign. It came after a report emerged accusing him of sexually molesting a 17-year-old girl in a church basement in 2012. Johnson fought back the accusation when he spoke yesterday at the Heart of Fire Church, where he was the pastor.
This allegation concerning this lady, this young girl, absolutely has no merit. There's a lot of people that are willing to jump to judgment without any proof.
The night that the girl said all the crazy stuff she said, she was with my daughter, sleeping in the same bed as my daughter. So there you have it.
Johnson was never criminally charged. He said yesterday that politics was behind the accusations. Reporting live, Kyle Mitchell, WDRB News.
Kyle, thank you. And as news of Representative Johnson's death came out tonight, lawmakers and Kentucky's governor were quick to react. Matt Bevin tweeted this, saying, quote, "Saddened to hear of tonight's death of Kentucky Representative Dan Johnson. My heart breaks for his family tonight. These are heavy days in Frankfort and in America. May God indeed shed his grace on all of us. We sure need it." Former House Speaker Jeff Hoover said, quote, "I am very sad over the passing of Representative Dan Johnson. Over the past few weeks, in some of the darkest days of my life, he reached out to me, encouraged me, and prayed for me. Prayers for his wife, children, grandchildren, and all affected by this sad event." And the Republican Party of Kentucky Chairman Mac Brown sent us this statement, quote, "This is a tragic situation. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Dan Johnson."
In other news tonight, police shoot an alleged armed robber at a Family Dollar.
WDRB's Fallon Glick is following this WDRB News alert. She explains what led up to the shooting and what the suspect was stealing. Fallon.
David, Adrian, there are still a number of police officers on scene at this Family Dollar on West Broadway near 13th Street after police say an LMPD officer shot an alleged armed robber. Now I'm going to give you a look at the scene right now. There are still a couple dozen police cars marked cars here. We're told from police a man attempted to rob this Family Dollar on Broadway near 13th Street around 8:45 this evening. Police say they responded to a robbery in progress. That's when they surrounded the building. The suspect eventually came out the back of the building armed with a handgun. Police say the suspect refused to put it down, and that's when an officer shot the suspect in the leg. Police say the suspect was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No one else was injured in the shooting. We're also told the suspect attempted to steal cash from the store. Now, police are still canvassing the scene this hour. Broadway is blocked off from 12th Street to 15th Street, and this area of Broadway is expected to remain closed for the next couple of hours. Reporting live from 13th and Broadway, Fallon Glick, WDRB News.
All right, thanks, Fallon. Also in the news, the University of Louisville is firing back against fired coach Rick Pitino.
The school has now filed its own lawsuit saying the coach owes U of L for the damage he's brought to the school. October 16th, the University of Louisville fires its longtime head coach, weeks after revelations that U of L coaches were suspected of being involved in a bribery scheme to land recruits. But the school claimed Pitino's termination was the result of a series of events.
There isn't just a single reason, as was outlined in the letter that initially was sent to Coach Pitino. There were a number of issues that over time were brought to our attention, and we simply felt that this was in the best interest of the university.
November 30th, Pitino sues the U of L Athletic Association for more than $35 million for what was left on his contract. The suit claims the school didn't give the coach 10 days prior written notice and a chance to be heard, and that Pitino had no knowledge of the recruit scandal. Now U of L is going after the coach for money it says he owes the school for the NCAA vacating games, Final Fours, and Louisville's 2013 championship. A lawsuit filed Wednesday in federal court says Pitino's negligence and wrongful conduct in current and previous scandals has hurt the school's reputation. The suit notes the money U of L has been ordered to return for the 2012 to 2015 men's tournament, saying Mr. Pitino and not the university was the active wrongdoer. U of L also wants any bonuses and other compensation it says was wrongly paid to Pitino for those tournament appearances. The suit goes on to say that Pitino was fired because of conduct over a period of years, including his involvement in multiple recent and highly publicized scandals involving himself and the University of Louisville's men's basketball team. The suit claims Pitino's actions have damaged U of L's reputation and its ability to recruit, along with hurting ticket sales and donations. WDRB's Jason Riley has been pouring through this lawsuit and details just how else the lawsuit claims Pitino violated his contract. That's right now on WDRB.com.
Temperatures weren't so bad today, with numbers climbing up into the 40s with that southwest wind kind of gusty at times. Those breezy conditions hang on tonight, so you might kind of feel your windows rattling a little bit, but it comes with nothing more than some cloud cover, maybe a passing flurry or a sprinkle. Other than that, looks pretty dry out there. Currently in downtown Louisville, skies are cloudy, temperatures are chilly. 47, dew point 41, west wind 22, but at times has gusted over 30 and will continue to do so for the next hour or two. National Weather Service has gone ahead and issued a wind advisory for Carroll County. You could see some gusts close to 50 miles an hour, so if you have any travel plans tonight through early tomorrow morning, keep a tight grip on the steering wheel. Sprinkle or a flurry around midnight, then we're dry. From 42 down to 36, skies gradually turning partly cloudy by 4 o'clock in the morning, so some clearing out there. Sunrise 7:52 with the temperature sitting right around 30. So the next couple days look colder, and then we heat back up over the weekend. Find out when to expect temperatures in the 50s, plus the chance for some rain.
All right, thank you, Rick. The 79-year-old man accused of shooting an Indiana State trooper in the head last night is given a $1 million bond.
WDRB's Gilbert Corsi explains how a drunk driving stop turned into a shootout and a manhunt.
A knot on the forehead and a dry bloodstain marks the spot where police say a bullet hit Trooper Morgan Evans.
His guardian angel was definitely with him.
And grazed over the hairs on his head.
Mr. Case, do you have anything to say? Good night.
79-year-old Oscar Kays walked to court Wednesday shackled at the wrist and feet, now charged with attempted murder.
Obviously, one of the questions they ask is, well, why did you do what you did? Why did you shoot the trooper? He basically replied saying that he didn't want to go to jail. He said that he didn't think it was wrong, that he wanted to be able to drink a couple of beers and not get in trouble, and then he just did not want to go to jail.
Police say Trooper Evans spotted Kays driving on the wrong side of the road around 7 Tuesday night near Park and Jefferson Streets in Jeffersonville. We're told Kays failed a field sobriety test and was being taken in for a certified breath test. And as Evans pulled out his handcuffs, Kays pulled out a handgun.
It was total chaos. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Trooper Evans fired back even after being shot. Here's where the bullets pierced Kays' truck, but he still got away, sparking a massive manhunt, including Indiana State Police, Jeffersonville PD, and Clark County deputies.
It is a shocker. It really is.
The chaos startled neighbors on Hurston Drive as Kays was eventually found and arrested at home.
He's always been so nice and always been so friendly, and I could never imagine like anything going on in his house, and it kind of really made me nervous. And when we watched like the SWAT team come up, it got even more scarier.
The 79-year-old has no known criminal history, and when asked what happened, this was his only response.
Well, I think he crossed the line.
Gilbert Coursey, WDRB News.
Prosecutors say they're waiting on blood tests to confirm whether Oscar Kays was actually intoxicated. Officer Evans has been released from the hospital. We're told he's recovering at home.
A dangerous intersection in southern Jefferson County is getting some changes, what you can expect to see as early as Friday.
Plus, 2 people are killed in a crash near Madison, Indiana. The reason police say this crash could have been avoided.
And Jeffersonville's police department is adding new officers to its force. The message from one officer's girlfriend about him joining the force. Police say a driver and his passenger were killed while trying to pass in a no-passing zone. This map shows where it happened last night around 9:30 on State Road 256 in Jefferson County, Indiana. Police say Joshua Hendricks was driving a black Mustang when he started passing a car in the no-passing zone. He hit a black Impala head-on. Hendricks' car went off the road and caught on fire. He died along with his passenger, Amanda Hendricks, both from North Vernon. 3 people in the Impala were hurt.
'Tis the season for thieves taking advantage of packages left on your doorstep. The Elizabethtown Police Department posted this video to its Facebook page. Surveillance video caught a woman coming up to a home off Patriot Parkway and taking a package. You see it there. Police say at least one other person was helping that woman. The suspects were in a white Ford F-150. If you have any information, call Kentucky State Police.
Making the streets of Jeffersonville safer, 1 police officer at a time. 6 new officers were sworn in at City Hall this morning. The new officers say they're ready to accept the danger of the job to keep the community safe.
This job is can go from 0 to 100 in a blink of an eye, literally. You know, I have a strong family support, and but everyone's in touch with the reality of the dangers from time to time of the job.
It makes you count your blessings when they come home safe. That's the most important thing. We want them to come home to us. Their job is very dangerous, but we're glad they're out there protecting our streets and protecting our families.
The city of Jeffersonville now has 85 police officers.
Changes are coming to a dangerous intersection in southern Jefferson County. State officials say because of a high volume of crashes, the intersection of Beulah Church Road and Fern Creek Road will be turned into a 3-way stop. Crews will install stop signs and red flashing lights at that intersection on Friday. Officials say some lane closures may be needed during that work.
WDRB weather, sponsored by VisionWorks, Doctors of Optometry.
This is it. The Geminid meteor shower peaks tonight. Unfortunately, clouds are going to kind of spoil the show, but for those of you who do see some clearing late tonight, early tomorrow morning, if you want to wake up and check it out for a couple of hours, it's worth a shot. Up to 60 meteors per hour, which is about a meteor per minute. Pretty impressive. I'm really upset that these clouds are going to ruin the show. Look south. You can see some of those shooting stars go across the sky. Will look pretty cool. Now, we had the clouds basically for the evening hours, and they did make for a pretty awesome sunset. So while they ruined the meteor show, it did make for a pretty spectacular shot from Mindy out of Jeffersonville, Indiana. I catch myself staring at this one for like 5 minutes, kind of drooling a little bit, being, all right, snap out of it. Really cool shot. Appreciate you taking the time to take that and send it to us. Mindy, also want to get you up to date with the latest wind advisory. Carroll County, just been issued for you. Wind gusts possibly up to 50 miles an hour, and that remains in effect through 5 a.m. So the winds will stay breezy, if not kind of gusty at times tonight, and then gradually relax as we head throughout the day on Thursday. Looking outside right now, there's a cold front which is in the process of wiping its way on through, bringing the cloud cover and about a 10% chance for a sprinkle or a flurry. Just a gusty wind along with that, tons of snow through parts of Ohio and through Pennsylvania. For us, just looks like it's going to be a much colder day for tomorrow. But today, we made it above average. How about that? 46 degrees your average, and today we were at 49 degrees because of that gusty southwest wind, but now it's starting to turn around to the west and eventually northwest. 22 miles an hour was the latest wind measured. That is sustained. Temperature around 41 degrees, so winds relax tomorrow, but it also takes the temperatures down with it. See the latest wind gusts, 34 E-Town, 20 Campbellsville, 28 in Munfordville. So if you have any outdoor furniture down here, if you can go ahead and secure it quickly, I would go ahead and do that because it looks pretty gusty and pretty windy for the next, let's say, 2 to 3 hours or so. So those winds will be huffing and puffing overnight. Temperatures will be on their way down. It feels like 35 in Corydon, 31 in Bedford. Notice still near 40 from Campbellsville through around Munfordville when you factor in that wind. So the cold front slides through. A few clouds through around 3 a.m., maybe a flurry or a brief sprinkle. But then after that, we dry things out. There's even some holes in those clouds late tonight, first thing Thursday morning, which translates to partly cloudy skies tomorrow, but we barely climb. Numbers stuck in the 30s all day long. Friday, a colder start in the 20s. By the afternoon, we get a little more in the way of sunshine, maybe a flurry or two, but it still looks pretty chilly with numbers in the upper 30s. Changes do arrive just in time for the weekend. Saturday morning, notice this warm front lifts through around midday. Southwest winds pick up, turns a little breezy, but that breeze will do us a big favor. Temperatures get close to 50 by Saturday afternoon with a lot of sunshine. Clouds increase late Saturday through Saturday night. So Sunday of the 2 weekend days looks a little grayer and also a little soggier. Notice rainfall does become likely as we head through Sunday afternoon. Not a ton, but some showers are likely every once in a while. So any outdoor plans right now, Saturday, the pick of the weekend. Forecast tonight shows some clearing. Otherwise, it's breezy and cold. Down to 30 with a 10% chance for a sprinkle or a flurry. Now tomorrow, we start to 30 and only make it up to 38, despite the fact we'll see a mixture of clouds and sunshine. North wind lighter between 5 and 10 miles an hour. So those aggressive winds kind of back off here tomorrow. 39 Friday with a flurry or two. Breezy on Saturday. Look at that recovery. Back up to 50. Cloud showers Sunday. We keep that milder air around. And then by early next week, get a few showers both Monday and Tuesday. But notice temperatures, rather than being in the 30s, actually hang out in the 40s to around 50.
I will take whatever I can get. All right, thanks, Rick. Santa Claus getting some very special help from some Hoosiers who know Christmas. Volunteers in the town of Santa Claus are helping to respond to all the letters Santa receives from children. The volunteers have been keeping the tradition alive for more than 100 years. It's estimated they've responded to more than 13,000 letters already this year alone.
It's amazing how their hearts are poured out to this person that is this love, you know, for them, a caring person. So we have wonderful, cheerful, happy letters. We have sad letters. We have letters that are sometimes sarcastic and say, you know, I don't believe in you. And then we say, oh, Santa is real.
Well, for all those who still want to write to Santa, the deadline to receive a response from the helpers in Santa Claus is December 21st.
Taking a leap of faith right before taking the plunge. How a groom made sure his bride's wedding dress was something she never saw before.
Rick Pitino is suing the University of Louisville, and now they are suing him. The details in sports. The University of Louisville has filed a lawsuit against Rick Pitino for monetary damages, alleging the coach's negligence and wrongful conduct has tarnished the school's reputation. The lawsuit, filed Wednesday in federal court, is a counterclaim to Pitino's $35 million suit against the school's athletic department. It alleges that Pitino and not the university was the active wrongdoer, after noting the NCAA has ordered the school to return money received for the 2012 through 2015 men's basketball tournaments. The university is also seeking any bonuses and other compensation wrongly paid to Patino for those tournament appearances, and it filed a defense to Patino's November 30 lawsuit, arguing the former coach was properly terminated on October 16 after being given a hearing. Additional details on the story can be found in Jason Riley's article right now on WDRB.com. U of L officials met with the NCAA Appeals Committee this morning in Atlanta. Interim President Dr. Greg Postal and Interim Director of Athletics Vince Tyree among those presenting arguments that the initial penalties handed down against the university were too strong. Tyree told our Rick Bozich this afternoon that he felt, quote, "We were well prepared and pleased with the presentation, and that unfortunately you leave without a real indication of their decision," unquote. A final decision is expected to come in January at the earliest. High school hoops tonight. Sacred Heart at Eastern. Eastern's Kiara Pearl honored for joining 1,000-point club before the game. Michaela Kennard working inside, hits the lefty right there. She led the Eagles with 15. IU signee Grace Berger. Big opening run for SHA. Knocks down the three, then makes like a quarterback with the pass to Kia Civils in the corner. She gets the roll. Civils had 13. The other end, Brianna Anthony finds Pearl, adding to her 1,000-plus points. She had 12 tonight, but it was all Valkyries. Berger, 24 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. Sacred Heart hands Eastern its first loss of the season, 86-56, the final. Villanova seemed pretty comfortable in its first game as the nation's top team. Jalen Brunson with a huge night, leading the Wildcats attack with a career-high 31 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists against the team his father once starred for. Nova's now won 22 straight games against the rest of Philly's Big Five. The final was 87-67. And former Cardinal Donovan Mitchell continues his tear. He had 32 in a losing cause for Utah tonight in Chicago. 103-100, the Bulls prevail. Adrian, David.
Good night for him. All right, thank you, Tom. Well, some people think it's bad luck for a groom to see his bride in her wedding dress before the ceremony, but a man in New York blew that theory out of the water. He actually made his bride's dress.
Pretty cool. Adam Krutinger is an art teacher. He wanted to do something special for his fiancée, so he actually made her wedding dress from scratch. Here's the catch. She wasn't allowed to see the dress until her wedding day. Krutinger allowed his fiancée to try on the dress at one point, but yeah, she was blindfolded, so she didn't quite know what it looked like. The dress fit perfectly, and his bride loved the dress when she finally saw it. I think that's sweet.
And they also saved big bucks.
Put that back in the wedding.
However much they cost these days, $1,000, $2,000, $10,000.
Kind of switching around a little bit. You know, the guy can't see the dress, she didn't see it, so a little change of pace, like the breaking traditional rules a little bit.
Although you think she would have said, "Oh, I hate it." What do you do then? So she's gonna say.
Then you just don't go through the ceremony, David. It's just you know. What
it's all off
now. It's all off. No, hate the dress. So in terms of the weather here, there's a cold front moving through as we speak. A little breezy out there, much colder tomorrow. Highs only in the 30s, but we do heat back up over the weekend, near 50 with rain possible on Sunday.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
An Indiana trooper is shot during a traffic stop. His condition and the clue left at the scene that led to a suspect.
Days after an apartment fire kills a family of 3, we uncover a history of code violations at the same property.
The winds just won't give up. Gusts as high as 35 miles an hour tomorrow, and that could also come with the opportunity for some rain and snow showers. When they arrive, plus which day, high temperatures make it back into the 50s.
An officer sues LMPD over sexual harassment. The big names accused of not doing enough.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Adrian Flores.
And I'm David Scott. We begin tonight with a WDRB News alert. A trooper is shot and rushed to the hospital tonight, and police think they have the person who fired the gun.
Kyle Mitchell is following this WDRB News alert. He joins us live from Jeffersonville. So, Kyle, what happened right before the shooting?
This all started after an officer tried to pull someone over here at West Park Place and Jefferson Street in Jeffersonville. Ambulance rushed the trooper to University Hospital in Louisville with a gunshot wound. Police say his injuries are not life-threatening. Officers aren't yet releasing the suspect's condition or saying exactly how he was hurt. Indiana State Police says the trooper pulled someone over in this area tonight when gunshots were exchanged. Troopers say there are 3 locations where officers are investigating but would not provide details. One neighbor says he heard at least 8 gunshots after he looked out the back door and saw police lights.
We came out and found the taser, the guy's taser laying over there, and other things around. And everybody started screaming through the area.
Police are planning to release more information late tonight or early tomorrow morning. Live in Jeffersonville, Kyle Mitchell, WDRB News.
Kyle, thank you. Meanwhile, a violent afternoon in Louisville with 6 people shot in 3 different scenes. This all happened within the span of about an hour.
WDRB's Gilbert Coursey explains what we know about whether it's all connected.
6 shootings just blocks apart. It's the obvious question. Are they all connected? Detectives aren't sure yet. Blue and red lit up the night sky as Louisville police taped off 17th and Gallagher Streets right outside Wheatley Elementary School Tuesday. Police say 3 black men were shot around 5:30 in the afternoon. Minutes later, less than 2 miles away, police found a 4th gunshot victim, also a black man, located near 22nd and West Kentucky Streets. It's believed he was actually injured back at the scene off 17th. All of this unfolded as police were still trying to piece together a shooting earlier in the day around 4:30 p.m. near West Kentucky and South 32nd. 2 other black men suffered gunshot wounds. Altogether, 6 shot. 3 different scenes in about an hour, a few miles apart. Detectives say they may all be connected, though they're not sure at this time. At first, MetroSafe reported 3 arrests, but police now say no one is in custody for any of these cases. All 6 victims are expected to survive. If you have any information about any of these shootings, you're asked to call the police tip line 574-LMPD. Remember, you can stay anonymous. In downtown Louisville, at police headquarters, Gilbert Coursey, WDRB News.
Days after a family of 3 dies in an apartment fire, we find a history of code violations on that property.
WDRB Sarah Sidery tonight tells us what inspectors found there. Sarah.
Well, according to this report, a code inspector's most recent visit was less than 12 hours before the fire.
I ain't the same over here anymore.
Daniel Hayes lives on Shanks Lane, next door to where a mother and her 2 children were killed in an apartment fire last week. Frantic, Hayes says he filled a storage tub with water to help douse the flames.
Then I'd run up and throw it on the door. And I did that for probably a good 3 or 4 minutes. And then I kept screaming for a fire extinguisher.
Investigators say 26-year-old Denisha Peden set the fire. She's charged with arson and murder.
Don't get me wrong, the girl that started the fire is at fault. But if everything was up to date and up to code, people could have got out properly.
WDRB found active code violations on the property. According to Metro Codes and Regulations reports, on the day of the fire, one of the units in the building had a broken window and trash outside. Last month, another unit's smoke detectors were not working. And in September, a 3rd unit needed new smoke detectors and a working window. Metro arson investigators tell us right now it does not appear any code violations involving doors or windows affected tenants' ability to escape the flames.
I know some people have money or upper class or what may have you, but people with little money deserve respect and deserve the best of the best too.
Metro Arson says the investigation could take months to complete. We were not able to reach the property owner for comment. Sarah Sidery, WDRB News.
All right. Thanks, Sarah. Family and friends are getting ready to honor the mother and her 2 children killed in that apartment fire. Archie Riley, her 16-year-old daughter, Savannah Cooper, and 11-year-old son, Cameron Harris, all died. A visitation will happen on Thursday from 4 to 9. Celebration of life will be held at 11 Friday morning following a burial service. Both are taking place at Valley Hope Center. The family has set up a GoFundMe page to help pay for the funeral. You can also donate through Republic Bank, care of Southwest Family Ministries.
Serious claims tonight against an LMPD officer and the department. A fellow officer is suing LMPD and Metro government, saying she was the victim of sexual harassment, and the department tried to brush it away.
The lieutenant says in February of last year, fellow Lieutenant Robert Shadle texted a photo of a man's private area and wrote, "Thinking about you." The suit claims the female officer responded, "You are texting the wrong expletive person, stupid." The plaintiff claims that she and the other officer had a strictly professional working relationship. Also, according to the suit, when the female officer told her supervisor, Major Kelly Jones, about the text, he said it was probably sent by mistake, saying, "Don't take this wrong, but there are plenty of fish out there, and I just don't think this was meant for you." The suit claims that another lieutenant in that meeting told Jones he was bound to take the matter to police officials for a formal investigation, but that Jones responded, "I am not bound by anything," and said he would instead reprimand Shadle. The suit also accuses Chief Steve Conrad of allowing the incident to be dealt with without an investigation if the female officer agreed not to file a formal complaint. Court papers show that Shadle was suspended in April of last year for 20 days for an inappropriate and obscene text. The lawsuit claims Shadle continues to talk to the woman despite orders to stay away from her.
No criminal charges have been filed against Shadle. The lawsuit is asking for unspecified damages and a jury trial.
Crews continue to clean up that big mess after millions of gallons of water spilled into Louisville's streets. This was a live look at Clay and Oak Streets as crews are trying to fix the road and that busted water main. Louisville water officials say the water shut off at this hour. All started at 8 o'clock this morning when a water main that was installed back in 1893 broke, shooting water into the air. Crews had to turn off more than a dozen valves in order to get that water to stop. Now, officials are just trying to figure out exactly what went wrong.
I mean, it could be anything from the pipe itself, it could be the weather. When Louisville Water puts a pipe in the ground, we expect for it to last at least 100 years. So this particular pipe has lived a great life.
Boil water advisory is in place for Shelby Park, parts of Germantown, and other nearby neighborhoods. Red Cross set up a shelter at Sojourn Community Church for anyone affected by the water main break.
There were a couple of snow showers and flurries flying around in parts of the area this morning, and we could see a few more in the coming days, but no major storms in the near future, and that's sort of the take-home message. Outside right now, you'll be shaking and shivering. Mainly clear skies, extremely cold temperatures, and any snow showers that we had early on in the day now through parts of West Virginia, headed toward the Carolinas, and we are in the clear tonight, so no issues on the roads first thing tomorrow. Just make sure you bundle up. It's 24 degrees. Your dew point is 8. The air is simply dry as a bone. West wind 8 miles an hour, not helping the situation at all. The winds are really light, but it makes it feel more like it's 15 degrees. Wind chills tomorrow morning in spots may be dipping down to the single digits for now. Dress for this. Feels like 14 in E-Town, 17 Shelbyville, 18 in Munfordville, and Lanesville just a painfully cold 19 when you take into account that light breeze. By midnight, we're down to 23, mainly clear skies. As we get to around the 4 o'clock hour, wind chills again in the teens with an air temperature of 22, waking up near 20 here in the city. Your sunrise around 7:51, very late in the day, especially during the evening. Could see a mixture of both rain and some snow showers. Time that out. Potential impacts to the Thursday morning commute, and when high temperatures climb their way back into the 50s.
All right. Thank you, Rick. For the first time in 25 years, Alabama has elected a Democrat to the U.S. Senate. Doug Jones took down Republican Roy Moore in tonight's special election. Moore was faced with numerous allegations of sexual misconduct during the campaign. Jones will now take over the seat that now Attorney General Jeff Sessions held until he became the AG. The victory by the Democrat means Republicans now have a very slim majority in the Senate, 51 to 49.
A state lawmaker accused of sexually assaulting a teenager says he won't resign. Representative Dan Johnson spoke to reporters from his pulpit of the church in Fern Creek. He denied allegations that he molested a then 17-year-old girl back in 2012. The girl says a drunken Johnson assaulted her in an apartment inside the church fellowship hall.
This allegation concerning this lady, this young girl, absolutely has no merit. There is no anything that I've heard.
Johnson says the accusation is politically motivated. Both Republicans and Democrats have called on Johnson to resign, but he says he'll run for re-election next year.
An Elizabethtown man is behind bars tonight, accused of biting the face of a man who tried to help him. Police say earlier this morning, 32-year-old Stephan Batts was stumbling around a parking lot and was nearly hit by a car when another man decided to help him get to his apartment. Batts then reportedly turned on the man, biting his face. Police say the victim had a significant piece of flesh missing from the left side of his face near his eye, and his cheekbone was exposed. The victim was taken to University Hospital. Batts is charged with second-degree assault. A World War II veteran is back home tonight. How long it took to get the Marine back to his home state.
Plus, the FBI and Secret Service are investigating a credit card skimming scheme, the bank that's affected, and the advice officials have for you. Plus,
a Campbellsburg woman behind bars after police say she shot her husband in the head while he was sleeping. What led up to that incident coming up.
welcome back. Talk show host Dr. Phil is hoping to help catch an Indiana killer months after 2 Delphi teens were murdered.
You've been non-specific about how the actual crime was committed. You do know how it occurred, correct?
We do.
You may remember Libby German and Abby Williams vanished back in February while walking on a hiking trail in Delphi. Their bodies were found the next day, but their killers remains at large. Dr. Phil sits down with the teens' loved ones and law enforcement tomorrow, dissecting details of that cold case.
I kept asking them to let me go there. They wouldn't let me.
The pastor came and found me. He said they found the girls, and they didn't make it.
Girls Gone, the search for killer airs tomorrow at 3, right here on WDRB. A Henry County woman accused of killing her husband.
WDRB's Joel Skipper tells us why police think she did it.
It was in this house behind me. Investigators say the woman shot and killed her husband with a single bullet to the back of his head.
When I got a phone call that there'd been a murder here on Drennan, beside of the church, well, I knew that was the Bentley household.
Carolyn Sharp owns Sharp's grocery store just a mile down the road to where investigators say this woman, Tasha Bentley, killed her husband Gary around 8 o'clock Sunday morning.
He was a very pleasant person, always a smile on his face. I mean, he was a person that you would think you'd get to really get acquainted with.
According to police, 33-year-old Gary Bentley had thrown the couple's young son onto the bed, and when Tasha intervened, he began kicking her. After Gary Bentley was asleep, she allegedly grabbed her silver Ruger and shot him in the head. Investigators arrested Bentley and charged her with murder. Jars of marijuana were also found in the house.
Tasha was friendly too. She was always laughing. I mean, everything was okay with her.
Investigators say more than 20 guns were taken from the home's safe in an attempt to make the murder look like a robbery. Because of that, Bentley has also been charged with tampering of evidence. Kentucky State Police tell WDRB deadly domestic disputes like this happen more often than people may think.
Not too long ago, there was another incident very similar to that in Gallatin County. So things like that happen. I'm not saying it's prominent, but it does happen.
The couple's 4-year-old child is staying with relatives for the time being.
They were good people. Just something went wrong somewhere.
This investigation is ongoing, and Bentley remains in the Carroll County Detention Center. Reporting near Campbellsburg, Joel Skipper, WDRB News.
Criminals cashed in by ripping information directly from a local bank. Skimmers were found at a Centra Credit Union ATM in Jeffersonville. The bank's president says there was evidence skimmers were also used at an ATM on Hamburg Way in Sellersburg and on State Street in Columbus. Members' debit cards were frozen if there was suspicion their accounts could have been affected.
What we were finding was that the criminals were using the debit cards to access our members' funds. So we stopped that from happening so that our members would not have additional impact.
Anyone who used the machines over the weekend urged to monitor their accounts and contact the bank right away. The FBI and Secret Service both investigating.
74 years after he was killed in World War II, a Kentucky Marine finally returns home. Albert Strange was only 18 when he was killed during the Battle of Tarawa in the Pacific Theater in 1943. His remains arrived at the Louisville International Airport this morning. He'd been declared missing in action until his remains were identified recently. Graveside ceremonies are scheduled for noon tomorrow in Cave City.
WDRB weather, sponsored by Baptist Health, centered on you.
All right, so we kind of have a dilemma on our hands here. If you like seeing meteor showers, and tonight would be a good opportunity to get out and check out the Geminid meteor shower. Unfortunately, Temperatures are just brutally cold out there, on our way into the 20s with wind chills, which will feel like the teens. So you kind of have to weigh the two out. It's going to peak Wednesday night, but unfortunately Wednesday night, I think cloud cover could become an issue. So if you go out tonight, you could see around 30 to as many as 60 meters per hour if you plan on doing so. Between midnight, 4 a.m. will be the ideal conditions. Get out, let your eyes adjust, relax a little bit, and look south. Let me show you this picture of the sunset today, because to me, it almost looks like an oil painting. Really nice shot by Karen Chickpea Bennett's husband from downtown Louisville, looking westbound, where you can see that nice orange glow. Mainly clear skies overhead tonight. There's disturbance off to our north and to our west, and that will be the one which moves in late tomorrow through the overnight hours, bringing the opportunity for some rain and some snow showers. Outside right now, temperatures, as they've been all day long, pretty cold. 24 degrees, dew point 8, which is why your hands are probably cracking a little bit. West wind 8 miles an hour, and it feels like temperature of 15 degrees. It definitely hurts out there. Wind gusts today max around 35 miles an hour in Louisville. We will do that all over again here tomorrow, so the winds just will not relax. That's going to add a chill to the air. The difference is temperatures coming from the south tomorrow. Those winds coming from the south, and that's going to help those numbers, which will be a little warmer, closing in on 50, although the winds will add a little chill to the air. Advanced track, keeping temperatures all the way down through the 20s tonight. Wind chills in the teens first thing tomorrow morning. Here's this front. It approaches late tomorrow. It'll bring in colder air out ahead of it. One little batch of some light rain and snow showers, eventually transitioning to all snow by first thing Thursday morning. So around 3 o'clock in the morning, there could be a couple little bursts of snow roaming parts of Kentuckiana. If you see one, visibilities could drop and you may see a little covering, but I think they're going to be very blotchy in nature, which means only a few locations have to deal with them. Best opportunity would be north and east of Louisville and then down across some of our Kentucky counties along and south of the parkways. By the end of the week, Friday, a couple of flurries, partly cloudy skies. Moving into the weekend, we get a front in here. It's a warm front, which means temperatures finally start to make it back above 50, not only for Saturday, but for Sunday as well. Of the 2 weekend days and the outdoor plans, I'd say shoot for Saturday, because Sunday, while it's cooler and mild out there, temperatures in the 50s, it's still going to be a little soggy at times with the opportunity for some rain. So mostly clear, cold tonight, 21, wind chills down into the teens. Tomorrow, windy and chilly, highs in the upper 40s to around 50. A couple of snow showers possible late, those wind gusts around 35 to 40. So traveling, have a tight grip on the steering wheel. Colder Thursday, 37, partly cloudy skies Friday with flurries, 39. Notice 50s for the weekend. Clouds increase Saturday. Breezy with some chilly rain showers on Sunday, and then a couple lasting into Monday morning before we dry things out and temperatures settle their way into the mid-40s by Monday of next week.
All right, thank you, Rick. Well, a big year so far for at least the Louisville women's basketball team. They're ranked 3rd in the latest national polls. Katie.
And rightfully so. The Cards remain unbeaten, and that streak continued tonight against Tennessee State. Those highlights next in sports. Louisville officials are making their final pitch to the NCAA in Atlanta. Dr. Greg Postal, Vince Tyree, and others will meet with the NCAA Appeals Committee tomorrow in Atlanta. It's the school's final chance to reverse or alter the decision that came down regarding NCAA tournament revenue, games lost, and a vacation of the 2013 national championship. A final answer is expected to come in January. Number 3, Louisville women's basketball playing its 4th and final team from the Volunteer State. The Cards welcoming Tennessee State to town. Head coach Jeff Walls feeling pretty festive in his ugly Christmas sweater on the sideline. Santa playing a little golf. But on the court, Jasmine Jones starts it off, finding Sam Fearing wide open underneath. Cards up 2. Jones then gives it to Erica Carter in the corner. She knocks it down for 3. Cards take a 12-0 lead in the first. Later, Asia Durr to Carter. She kicks it out to Jones for the pull-up jumper. Banks it in. Louisville up 19-4. Kylie Shook now wanting in on the action. Moving the ball. Durr for 3. She hits it and gets the foul. Cards with an 18-point lead. Durr had 12 on the night. Louisville runs away with it, winning 95-56. Full court preps Tuesday style, headlined by unbeaten Male hosting Fern Creek. The Tigers looking to get back to a state title game this season. Ahmed Price very dangerous in the open floor through traffic for the bucket. Price then denying Howard Fleming, and the counter for that, the backdoor cut, Fleming off the bounce pass from Shane Dowdy. Nicely done. Anthony Wales then working to the basket, gets it to go plus the foul. Fern Creek up 5. Mail goes inside to sophomore Noah Courtney, converts over the left shoulder, but Price and the Tigers too tough. The drive and the punch from the senior right here, he had 17. Fern Creek 70-61 over the Bulldogs. Christian Academy getting some help from former Louisville Cardinal and 2013 national champ Tim Henderson as the Centurions take on Ballard. Austin Carr uses the baseline, dishing it to Tyler McDaniel. He gets blocked but grabs the deflection, this time going with the reverse. Cal cutting Ballard's lead to 2. Davis Bryant with no-look cross pass. Marshawn Ford knocking it down for 3. Ballard up 12-6 in the first. Then Tyron Duncan hits Rashad Bishop with the lob. The Bruins led 21-9 at the end of the first quarter. Cal making a push in the second. Clay Evans hits a 3 to pull the Centurions within 8. But Ballard stays tough, getting the win 84-51. And there's one less unbeaten college team in basketball. Mississippi State loses to Cincinnati tonight. Guys.
Oof. All right. Thanks, Katie. Well, temperatures have headed downhill, which means skiers will be able to do so as well at Paoli Peaks beginning this Friday.
The ski area says the cold overnight temps have allowed it to make some great quality snow. Skiing and snowboarding will open at 1 p.m. on Friday. The tubing hill opens at 5 o'clock. Paoli Peaks is about an hour northwest of Louisville, just west of Paoli, Indiana. Not going to have that kind of snow down below here anytime soon, though.
No, a couple of snow showers possible late tomorrow through tomorrow night. Maybe 1 or 2 slick spots, but they're going to be really scattered in nature. Unfortunately for Paoli Peaks, temperatures heat into the 50s this weekend. So a chilly rain may wash away some of that snow they worked so hard to create on Sunday. Between now and then, it looks a little milder tomorrow, close to 50. And then cold Thursday, Friday before the mild stuff returns over the weekend. Both Saturday and Sunday, highs close to 50.
Temperatures are a little bit colder out there, though. They can put up
just a little bit, yeah.
A little bit warmer stuff. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Have a good night. See you.